Misfits number 11 is not far away. It's kind of creeping up on us here. Not too many people are talking about it. The first event since the Prime card. Can it keep the hype going? Keep in mind, it is not a pay-per-view event, but the full card has been announced, and we're going to go ahead and get into these fights. The first one I wanted to talk about was Uncle Pizza versus Yuddy Gang 2. Both guys have been on Misfits a couple times now, and they are underrated. Not enough people are talking about these two. Both guys very talented, very skilled, right? That is not the problem. The only thing they're lacking now is the recognition. And I think a solid win here, a great performance, is going to give them a big fight opportunity. We saw Yuddy Gang in the tag team match against Dean and Waleed, and man, he was winning a lot of those exchanges against both of them. I was very impressed with him on that night, and I would love to see him in a 1v1 match against Dean the Great. I think the winner of this fight should move on to fight Dean the Great if they can make his weight. And I'd love for the loser to go ahead and fight Waleed. I think that weight class is lacking a lot of contenders, and these two are skilled enough to be there with Dean and Waleed, those big names. This is a rematch. The first fight was very close. Uncle Pizza got the decision. It feels very weird to say that name, like seriously. But it was a controversial one. Most people I saw thought that Yuddy Gang won the fight. So I'm excited to see this one go down. One of the better fights on the card, in my opinion. Another big fight I am really interested in is Arms versus Minicon 2. Another rematch on our hands here. These are big dudes. This is the heavyweight division. And in their first fight, they gassed out quick. Arms won the fight by decision, and he was carried out of the arena on a stretcher. When do you see the winner of a fight get carried out on a stretcher? That was a close fight. But the reason I love this rematch is because both guys are more experienced now. The cardio should be better, hopefully. And I think it's a great decision by Arms to have a quick turnaround fight after beating Master Oogway in round 1. He got that quick win in just a couple months ago, and now he's back for a heavyweight title eliminator. Winner of this fight gets their chance at the belt, and this is another one I am excited to see. And now for a third fight with a lot of talent. We got Gabriel Silva versus OJ Rose. Of course, as everyone says when they mention Gabriel Silva, he is the son of the former UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva. And this is a big test for OJ Rose. We have seen him on a few Misfits cards now. Most notably, had a win against Kimbo Slice Jr. Now, taking on another legend's son, and he has been doubted before, and he's got the job done. I think this is going to be competitive. I do think the favorite is going to be Gabriel Silva, but Mams Taylor, Misfits, has also mentioned the winner of this fight will most likely be fighting Anthony Taylor for the Misfits belt. And here's just a little prediction, not for the fight, but Anthony Taylor has this weight division's belt. We got Gabriel Silva versus OJ Rose fighting to be the next contender. I think there's a good chance that the influencers kind of just completely avoid this division, because there's a good chance Gabriel Silva ends up fighting for that belt. We have Anthony Taylor, who's an ex-pro MMA fighter, not an influencer. I don't think many influencers want to fight Anthony Taylor or Gabriel Silva. OJ Rose, I could see more people wanting to go in against. But I think there's a chance this division just completely goes away from influencers, which is not the intention, but it would be a little odd to see. Before we get into the co-main and main event, there's two more fights I have to mention. These are actually the two opening fights, but I don't really know these fighters all that well. We have Dapper Laughs versus Simple Simon. Simple Simon is 52 years old. Dapper Laughs, 39 years old. A big age difference here. I know 39 years old isn't like the youngest guy ever, especially for this scene. But 52 it's getting up there, man. That's going to be rough. Simple Simon has had a fight against Ed Matthews in the past. I don't know how that was allowed to happen, especially after looking at what Ed Matthews did to Swarms on the Prime card. So I'm a little concerned for this man's health and safety. These guys aren't super experienced. Hopefully everything goes well. I wish them the best, and may the best man win. And then we have Adam Brooks versus Rhino. That's what his name is listed at. It only says Rhino. And from what I've seen, the footage of both of these guys, I've never seen them actually fight. I've seen a few clips. They're going to go in there and throw. They're going to want to fight, and they're going to have heavy hands in there. So I think this one's going to be a slugfest. Adam Brooks has the cleaner shots, in my opinion, so I do think he's the more technical fighter in there. And if this fight goes on, I think he'll get the advantage. But early on, I could see this guy Rhino landing something early and finishing the fight. I don't really know these guys, but two new faces for the scene. That's a lot of what this card is doing, introducing new people, building people up, and I'm not mad about it. But our co-main event features someone who does not really need to be built up, and I think it was a great decision to put her on this card in the co-main event, and that's Julie Polka versus Elena Vampira. I'm actually very excited to see this fight. I think these are two of the better female influencer boxers in the scene. I think they're both better than the names we've seen kind of represent Misfits to this point in Astrid Wet and Elle Brook. Julie Polka does have a win over Elle Brook in the Kingpin tournament. But if you have not seen Elena Vampira fight, she is technical, she is skilled, and she is aggressive. She moves forward but does not get too reckless. Julie Polka, her defense isn't the best. There's a lot of holes in her defense. I have a feeling this one is going to be back and forth. I think they're both going to land big shots. Both of them have an explosive offense, and Julie Polka has a huge following from Brazil. A ton of people are going to turn out for her in this card, and a lot of these Misfits events that aren't pay-per-views have struggled a little bit with bringing a live audience. And bringing her in for this is a great decision in terms of bringing that audience in. I'm excited to see it. No prediction today. I'm going to do that in another video before the card. But I think this is a very solid co-main event. And then we have our main event, Jarvis versus B-Dave. I kind of already talked about this one in a past short that I put out. I think it's a big mismatch, but it's an understandable mismatch. I get why Misfits is putting this fight on. I think Jarvis is going to win this fight pretty easily. I think B-Dave gets reckless in there. His defense is pretty weak. He likes to throw big shots, but I think Jarvis is prepared for that. Jarvis throws the much cleaner shots. I think he's going to beat him to the punch. He's going to land heavy. I think he has the better cardio. I think Jarvis is going to win this fight clearly. I think there's going to be a stoppage. But the reason I think this fight is happening is because Misfits sees the potential in Jarvis. They want to build him up as one of the bigger names in the future. I think they also want him to fight the bigger names in the future. So this, as a Misfits debut, is understandable. They want him to go out there and get a big win, a good-looking victory. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. B-Dave, I'm not mad that he gets this opportunity. He has always stepped up to the plate. He takes the fights, and I'm not shocked that he took this one. So I got respect for B-Dave. But in terms of skill for how long he's been at it at this point, not very impressed. So, like I said, I got Jarvis very clearly by a finish. I don't know which round yet. But overall, I think this card is another build-up card. It doesn't have the biggest names. There's a few fights I really want to see. There's a couple fights I'm not so sure about, but it's introducing new fighters to the scene, which we do need, and it's building up the fighters that are lesser known. And for the non-pay-per-view events, that's what we're going to get, and I'm not mad about it. I think it's a very solid card. I hope we see a little more promotion leading up to it from Misfits and from the fighters themselves, because right now it's been a little too quiet. But what do you guys think? What is the best fight on this card? Is this a good card? Let me know. Subscribe for more boxing content and updates. The support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Peace.